Hi there. Good morning. My name is Angela Rosoff. I am a yoga teacher. I'm so excited to be here and I'm sharing pranayama practice with you. Pranayama is the one of the 8 limbs of yoga written by Patanjali, outlining different exercises and concentrations for life. Pranayama literally means in Sanskrit breath control. So it doesn't have to be exactly the idea of controlling our breath, like holding our breath. Sometimes people can think that that is what breath control means. But outside of that, what it means is to use your intelligence to control your breath, to be aware of your breath. And today I am starting a 3-part series about the bandhas, breathing into the bandhas. So today we will focus on the MULA BANDHA. As some of you know, I also have a Friday pelvic floor class, Adore Your Pelvic Floor. That class is for all genders. Everyone is welcome. The exercises help to balance our hormones, whether we are male, female, transgender. It helps to balance what's happening inside of our bodies. It's a very powerful practice. So in that class, it has become clear to me that some of my students aren't fully aware of what the pelvic floor is supposed to feel like because the awareness simply isn't present. So I decided to bring awareness to MULA BANDHA in this class today. So thank you for being here. This is what we're going to do. We're going to be breathing in with intentionality into our pelvic floor and bringing awareness to our pelvic floor. We'll do that with diaphragmic breathing, deep belly breathing, and then we'll have a short meditation just to integrate all of this work that we're doing with our breath. A meditation practice is very beneficial after yoga and pranayama. So let us begin. The first thing I suggest is to find yourself in a nice seated position. If you have questions, feel free to type them into the chat room. Okay, thank you. So I am actually sitting a little too high. I'm going to remove one of my pillows. And let me see here. I don't know if you can see my body. I'm just going to bring this down just a little. There we go. I think this is a little better. My feet are cold, so I'm going to tuck a little blanket around my feet. If you're wondering what I'm doing, that's what that's about. And finding a very tall seated position. Let us do just a little bit of stretching to enliven the body and to bring awareness. Here, I'm just going to scoot over just a little. See, a little obstruction in my view. Okay, so just to enliven the body, just to help us become aware of all that's going on in our body. So with a deep breath in, let's roll our shoulders back. Pull the shoulders up and around and back. And then reverse the flow of energy toward the front part of your body. Really engaging, pressing the shoulder blades together, rolling the shoulders down, tucking in and toning the abs as you do this. bring your hands to your shoulders. Roll the shoulders down, and let's do the rolls this way, bringing some energy into the shoulders. This is a very wonderful stretch to do, and let's reverse it. If you work on a computer, really enlivening the chest area is just the beginning of feeling the other bandhas. We're going to be working on the MULA Bandha, which is in our root chakra down here. Okay, rolling it forward. Wonderful. The other two bandhas, bandha is also known as lock, is Uddiyana Bandha, and that bandha we are working right now as we roll our shoulders. As we roll up, we're feeling Uddiyana Bandha, the idea of flying. And this idea of flying is really referring to the capacity of our torso to feel upward movement. So as we bring that energy up, we can actually pull our diaphragm, pull our internal organs up with us. And it offers a rejuvenative factor. Awesome. And then let's bend over to going to the right. Give ourselves a nice little stretch. And over to the left. These are just classic stretches to make sure that our spine has a good circulatory stretch. Let's give ourselves a little twist, just gentle, nothing too charged up. Fantastic. We're going to keep it safe. The other bandha that I wanted to share with you is in the throat, Jalandhara Bandha. This is the lock that we have with the upward and downward motion of our throat. Jalandhara Bandha can be something to be aware of, especially for those who are timid, shy to speak, and allowing the space for those wonderful people in our life to speak and be heard. And if that's you, we'll work on that in 2 weeks. Okay, I'm feeling it. Let's just roll our shoulders forward, pushing our tummies back, pulling our tummies forward, pushing our shoulders back. Let's do just a couple of these. At your own pace, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, and then finding your center. Let us experiment with MULA Bandha. This is our pelvic floor area, such an important area for vitality in Ayurveda. This is the area that houses our sexual activities, sexual energy, although sexual energy really resides in the brain, in my opinion. But all of the activity happens in this area, generally speaking, depending upon what you do. Now, this area is sacred in the terms of emotional stability, because if there's ever been a time in our lives that we have felt unsafe, insecure, feelings of belonging and just general feelings of accord with ourselves, our surroundings. Instability in the home can really cause blocks in the hips, in the root chakra. This can result in constipation. This can result in men in the inability to get an erection, impotence. That can cause problems with hormones in men and can be very common in the middle age. So really bringing awareness to this area is a very healthy practice. The idea of pelvic floor sexual activities is one of the 3 pillars of health in Ayurveda. It helps, and the reason is this whole zone of health helps to organize our hormones and the flow of healthy hormones in our bodies. It helps to regulate the adrenaline and the chronic cortisol that can be coursing through our body because of our diet and culture in the Western world. So let us find our MULA Bandha. And here's what we're going to do. In a seated position, close your eyes and imagine that the MULA Bandha in the lower part of your pelvis is connected on 4 corners, with the front corner in the front being your pubis bone. So become aware of the pubis bone. You could experiment with tilting the pubis bone forward, tilting it back, really finding that corner of foundation in your seat. Take a deep breath in. Imagine breathing out through the pubis bone, an imaginary connection with your breath. One more breath in. Now, on the inhale, holding your belly, breathing in, expanding the belly as you breathe in. This time on the exhale, exhale from the pubis bone, tucking it forward and pulling the breath up and out. One more time. So this is part of finding the perineum, depending upon how you pronounce it. Perineum is how I have been taught. Finding that first part of the perineum in the forward area of the pelvic floor. For women, this connects to our clitoris. This connects to the top of our sexual organs. For men, too, this connects just below the penis. Tipping the pelvic pubis bone forward. Now roll back onto your seat. And hey, guess what? We found the pubis bone. It's good to be a little lighthearted about this. It's kind of fun to explore this as adults, just remembering all of these important parts of our body. Now, from here, we've checked out the front corner. Now let's check out the reverse corner. So rolling back onto your coccyx, your tailbone. Imagine being able to do that. If you're not finding it, imagine you just found the pubis bone in the front. In the back, there is the tailbone, the coccyx. So rolling back just a little, finding it, closing your eyes. If you haven't found it, imagine it. This would be the point of interest that just resides up and behind the anus. So the coccyx, our end of our spine. Such an important part of our body for energy. And if you injure this part of your body, you really know it. Causes problems for a very long time. This time, let's breathe into our diaphragm. Imagine the breath going down through the coccyx. Imagine breathing up through the coccyx. Imagine breathing out through the coccyx. Are you feeling the contractions? Really isolating in the rear part of your seat. We isolated the front forward part of your seat. Now the rear part. Let's take one more deep breath. It's a very powerful practice for anyone who has digestive problems and dry digestion with any constipation in elimination. Breathing in one more time. Exhaling through the coccyx. Brilliant. So we have found the two corners, forward and back. How are you feeling? I'm feeling incredibly enlivened in this area. Another action that could be helpful to find these four corners is to add, I have a 1 pound weight that you can use, and you can just place it near your pelvis, allowing you to feel what is forward, placing it in the rear to allow you to feel what is backward. Getting in touch with our bodies is not natural for many of us. In our Western culture, we are taught to detach from our bodies, to work and to automate our lives. But we're asking you to lose the automation and remember that you are a live being. Now, let's find the right sit bones. So that would be on the right side of your bum, at the very top of your thigh, and then inward toward your coccyx. As we sit here, you could place the weight on the right side, just to be aware that that's what you are going for. So let us breathe in. Let's do that practice with the diaphragmic breathing. Breathing out, breathing in, we expand our breath. Breathing out, we contract. So breathing in into the right sit bones. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. finding that right sit bones, creating a line of energy from your mind down into the right, bringing awareness to this part of your seat. One more breath in and out, all the way up through the right sit bones. Now let's reverse it. I'm going to place my weight over to the left, just lightly under my seat, finding your left sit bones. So we've looked at the pubis bone, the coccyx, the right sit bones. Now we're completing our foundation of a little square here in our body of the left sit bones. Let's breathe in and out, pulling up through the left sit bones. Breathing in and out through the left sit bones. Breathing in and out through the left sit bones. It's your last sit bones breath. Make it a good one. Really contract the left sit bones, isolating. Beautiful. And then we'll release. Release. So now we're going to integrate this work. Let's just take a little wiggle. Sometimes when we're isolating one area, we can actually become a little tense. We don't want to do that. We want to release the energy. So I'm just gonna do a little wiggle. And when you're ready, let's find ourselves back sitting tall. I'm just gonna show you my spine. Sitting tall. Feeling all of this work that we've done together. It seems very simple, but what a gift to you right now for yourself. Now I am feeling enlivened. I do a lot of pelvic floor work, but I am really noticing all four corners. My seat is feeling very enlivened. Beautiful thing to do for myself in the morning. And really now we're going to integrate. Imagine a circle connecting the dots from the back, opening the circle to both sit bones and closing the circle in the coccyx. Imagine the circle coming back. Yes. All the way to the front. And think about this circle, just like Saturn's rings, floating around. Imagine this halo of vitality with all of the work that we just did. Now let us integrate this with pranayama practice. Breathing into the pelvic floor, lifting up all of these points of interest that we just examined, brought awareness to and found, and pull it up through the navel, finding this lock. And you'll feel it's almost like an arrow shooting from the pubis bone up to the navel. This is where the lock resides, right? Bringing it all together, pulling it up. I say this a lot, but BKS Iyengar said that this is the key to the fountain of youth. And there is a reason for it. I'm pulling up, continue to pull, enliven, pull it up. The reason is because this area balances our hormones. Whether you're a man or a woman or transgender, doesn't matter. We all have a pelvis. We all have our own stuff that's going on there. It doesn't matter if it's a uterus or if it's a prostate. There's something there. This area helps to balance our hormones. We invite hormone activity that isn't healthy, surges of insulin from overeating or eating too much or eating throughout the day. Very difficult for our bodies. That can cause a ripple effect with cortisol. We may find ourselves chronically energized through adrenaline, through work activities, through lack of awareness around our emotions. This can create havoc in our body. The hormones created from this practice can help to balance all of that and create surges of hormonal activity that's very healthy. So, still pulling up as I'm talking. Now let's breathe in, pulling all of this up, breathing into the diaphragm, feeling the tension, locking the body here, examining it, feeling it. Exhale, releasing the pelvic floor down in our exhale. Let's give it another try. Pulling up, locking the pelvis, breathing into the diaphragm on the exhale, breathing out and exhaling, compressing. Exhale, release. And let's do that 3 more times. Breathing in, exhaling, release it all. Inhale and release. 2 more breaths, closing your eyes, focusing the energy on the lock on the inhale, and then on the exhale, releasing the lock. Here we go, lock it up, breathe it in, expanding the diaphragm and releasing the lock, letting it all go, contracting the diaphragm. 1 more time, breathing in, exhaling, releasing the lock, contracting the diaphragm. There we go. Shake it out, unlock the legs here. Wiggle it out, take a little stretch forward. How are you feeling? You can write it in the chat. Are you feeling more enlivened? Amazing, amazing. I'm just going to take a little stretch. This is a wonderful practice. And now that you've found the pelvic floor, perhaps any pelvic floor class that you take with me or with someone else will be more meaningful. And right now, I'm feeling the energy in my pelvic floor area. This is a very energizing practice to do in the morning. It creates really good feelings for the rest of the day. Highly recommend a morning practice of pelvic floor activities, especially for those of us over 40 who really need some help calming the hormones. So, with this in mind, thank you for practicing with me. Let us enjoy a short meditation just to integrate our work. Yogis and yoginis all around the world practice meditation after yoga, after pranayama, as our bodies are enlivened with energy. Meditation allows us to connect our energy with our local environment, with our community, with the universe. Hands open on the knees in a seated position. tilting slightly forward if that feels right to you. Let us return to the MULA Bandha for a quick body scan. As we have found our pelvic floor this morning, we have enlivened our bodies to return to a state of being a human with feelings and surges of energy in this area. Allow this area to be free from any blocks and a conduit of continuous flow of energy to benefit our health, those that we love, and our greater world. Allow the energy of positivity to flow up through our spines, outward into our nervous system, and give us the ability to realize balance in our movements, our thoughts, our activities. Connecting the nervous system with our brain, allow this integration with intelligence to lead our work, our lives, to that of positive crafts, positive work, positive art, to benefit our bodies and those around us. Feeling this integration throughout our bodies, the balancing of hormones, inviting the parasympathetic nervous system to rest and digest, digesting emotions, digesting oxygen in our pranayama practice, allowing the nourishment of food to flow easily in our digestion. May we be free of ama, all that is undigested. May this practice to be able to problem solve all that lies ahead. Feeling all of this energy spiral up and out through our crown chakra. Feel the rooted connection to the universe. Joy and bliss, contentment. May feelings of these fill your body now. When you are ready, begin to wiggle your fingers, rubbing the hands together, warming, placing hands over eyes, opening the eyes, returning to our center. May the sound of the bell awaken us back to our day. The sun has risen up since our class began. Thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to introduce MULA Bandha and diaphragmic breathing with meditation. I hope you will join me again on Thursday. I have a yin yoga class, and that's a 60-minute yoga class focusing on releasing emotions. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you. I do see some questions, so I will answer those in the cool down room. Thank you for joining me.